well, that wasn't emotional abuse because I didn't want to have sex with you. Well, if you're not telling me why you're not having sex with me and you're just saying, I just don't want to have sex, and not facing the truth about the situation, or you're withholding sex because you are being angry with the person, there's that is not good as a form of emotional abuse, because then that can hurt a person deeply. It could also give them self-image issues where they're thinking that they are not attractive anymore. They, um, it makes them feel horrible. And so if you are in a relationship where you are not sexually interested in the person anymore, or you're withholding sex because you're punishing the person, leave. Please just give them the benefit of leaving. Break off the relationship. Do not put that person through that hell. I've been there, and it's horrible. Um, and I'm not afraid to discuss it, because when people share their feelings and things that they've been through, it helps others deal with it and understand it. Um, with if they're going through it themselves. I didn't know I was going to get in such a deep conversation about things today and be so open about things. But I know that if you discuss things, that people can actually feel like they're not alone, because things have happened to me over time, and I felt so alone, and then I discussed it with other people, and I've discussed it with therapists, and they're like, girl, well, that's not the way the therapist talks. They're like, that's emotional abuse, and it can fuck you up. And, you know, that's sad and hard. And it's something that, it's, not my fault, but my fault for staying with somebody, and the people who are not a mature communicator. What is the word? I forget the word right now. Mature communicator, there's a word for it. I don't remember the word right now. So I knew these people were not able to communicate the way that I needed, but I still stayed. But they were also at fault, because they should have said, hey, I don't feel this way. And then, things get worse because a person doesn't communicate correctly. So there's that form of abuse, emotional abuse with sex. But then there's just regular emotional abuse where people are putting you down, hurting you emotionally, putting you down, saying words that you ask them not to say these things, and they continuously say them. There's so many things that can go into that. Physical abuse, of course, is physical. There's neglect, where you're neglecting the person, and that's not good. Like, but abuse is not good. Physical, emotional, none of these are good things. And if you are feeling this way in any situation, then you definitely need to be leaving the situation. And if you don't feel safe enough to leave the situation, please call your local authorities, because they will stand by you while you move out if the person is there that you're afraid of. And a lot of the times you don't see the relationship until you're out of the relationship, in your hindsight, and you're like, fuck. Because that's happened to me numerous times, because I've really been in these horrible relationships. I've discussed it before, where I've been in these relationships because I loved them, and I just stayed because I thought love was enough, and it was never enough. And I deserved better, and I do deserve better. And that, like I said in a couple episodes ago, that's why I've been single and not jumping in a relationship, because I really needed to go inward and see what I needed to see. And, and that's the hardest thing, is loving yourself enough to leave. And I love myself. It wasn't that I didn't love myself in any of these relationships, because I love myself. It was just settling for something less than what I deserved. So, and that sucks, to be in that position where you love somebody, but they're not treating you the way that you deserve. And it's happened to numerous people, and to discuss it and to talk about it is a good way for people to hear they're not alone, and they can go, they can leave, they can leave the relationship. They can do the things that they need to do. They can find the person that will accept them and love them for who they are, who will understand that, when they're, you know, let's see, that when they're in this sort of situation, they get anxiety, and that you'll be there for them. Like, you need to be with somebody that gives you the same love that you give them. And that is always the hardest, because sometimes people love more and others don't know how to love. And, someday people will find the person that they belong with, and they will get the love that they deserve. But they need to stop settling for nothing. Like, you're not getting out of the relationship, not getting anything. Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, am I getting what I need out of this relationship? And a lot of the times, if you're having to ask yourself that, then you're not. And coming to terms with situations like needing to leave a situation is always the hardest, because it's either you really do love the person or you're comfortable. And I know people who have stayed in marriages because they were just comfortable. And they're like, well, I don't want to date anybody else. I don't want to get to know somebody else. And it's just like, but you're not getting the love that you deserve. And so you're just settling for this relationship that could be so much more. And, I know relationships do change over time, because that's what happens. I'm not a stranger to having long-term relationships where the person's actually there, not kind of relationship where it was long distance, or I know many people who have been in relationships with military people, and so they're not really there. So I've been in a relationship where the person's there, right there, all day, every day. And maybe we spent 3 nights apart from each other throughout 10 years. So, I know how relationships are supposed to go. I know how communication's supposed to go. And you just need to find somebody who is on that level. And relationships change throughout years. Like, look at my mom and dad. I watch them every single day. Right now is really rough, like I talked in the beginning, with, memory shit. But they still love each other, and they're still in a relationship, and that's a good thing. But abuse is abuse, and what Kanye is doing is abusive. And people are taking his side, thinking that it's okay to act that way, and it's not. And if you are discussing your relationship with your friends or friend or whoever, and you're letting them know, hey, this is what's going on, this is my situation, this is what my partner is doing or not doing, and you are fucking going out of the relationship because you can't talk to them, that's a problem. Don't be in the relationship. The first rule of being in a relationship is don't talk about the relationship. Just kidding. That's Fight Club. Sorry. It is to communicate. Communication is the main fucking thing in a motherfucking relationship. And you need to be able to tell your person, hey, this is what I'm feeling. And believe me, I feel like I am at fault for this, because no, I'm not at fault, but I fucking am like, yo, what is wrong? Things are not right. And if they continuously tell me the same thing over and over, like, oh, well, I'm feeling this way because of this. So this is why this is what's going on, because I feel this way because of another thing. And they never make the situation about you. They're avoiding it. And that's not healthy either. There's so many things that are not healthy when it comes to relationships that are just avoiding the whole conversation. And like, and if they get mad at you when you bring it up, leave. They're getting mad at you for your feelings, and so they're not taking accountability for them. And after years, months, weeks, however long, if you're telling somebody how you feel and they're getting mad at you because of you're pointing out that there's something wrong and they're not holding themselves accountable because they're the reason why, like, they're not communicating, leave. Like, I have friends that discuss these situations with me, and my first thing to say to them is leave. Leave. It's not getting any better. It's been 2 years. It's been 3 years. It's been 4 years. It's been 5 years. Leave. It's been that long. This person's not going to change. The only thing that I can say is go to counseling. And so I say that's the only thing I can tell you, because they're not taking accountability for themselves. They're not communicating effectively. Leave. Or go to counseling. And if they don't want to go to counseling, they need to hear it from somebody else. Because I've been in that situation too, where you're in a relationship with somebody and you're saying something over and over again till you're blue in the face and they're not listening to you until somebody else says it. Then they'll listen to it, or they'll be mad with you. Because that's happened to me, where they got mad at me because the therapist agreed with me the situation that the proper way to handle a situation was this way. And they got mad at me because I was right. Why are you getting mad at me for being smart about things? Like, I'm not trying to say that I'm better than you or anything. It's like the situation is healthy. I want it to be healthy. So leave or go to therapy. Go to counseling together. You guys need to fucking do that. If not, then fucking dissolve the relationship. Don't fucking put yourselves through hell. And it's like fucking relationship chicken, where who's going to leave first, but you guys are staying in the relationship and you're just staying and staying and staying because you're too comfortable and you don't want to make things rocky, and you don't want to make the kids feel a certain way, but the kids are seeing you already acting this way, then get the fuck out. You know, it's rough. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm working out. So, sorry about the little pauses here and there. Oh, my earrings are really hurting my ear. It's like I could only wear them for like 2 days and then they start hurting. I don't know. That's weird. So yeah, that's my spiel on all that. And I feel like I'm like talk about these things over and over again. And I think it's because in my personal life, my friends and people that I know are affected by these things. And so I feel like this discussion is just so prominent in society today and with everybody. Like, you can't tell me that you have friends that are only together for the kids. You can't tell me that you are not friends with people who are in a relationship that have lost the spark and they don't even want to be with each other, but they stay together. Like, or one person's already stepping out on the relationship, you know? You can't tell me, because everybody has these kind of friends. And it's hard. It's hard to be around it. And it's hard to see your friends going through it, and you love your friends so much and you just want the best for them. Because I also wish that my friends would have said things to me didn't say anything until after the end of the relationship. We're like, yeah, this is the way, what I saw, this is what I heard, this is what I felt. And it's like, dude, you could have told me the shit when I was in the relationship. Like, when people are outside of the relationship, they see better. And, they could have fixed the situation at hand. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. One moment. I'm not going to take a break. Let's just end it here, because I feel like I just get blue in the face. And I think it's just me wanting to make sure that my listeners and my friends and my family hear this podcast and they realize that they are enough and there's somebody out there for them that will give them everything that they need and not be an abusive person towards them and give